I'm sorry I did that to us, man. Oh.
No, please.
It's rare to see Joe Rogan go quiet. He's usually the guy who laughs through chaos, cracks a joke at the worst moment, or unleashes a fiery rant when something shocks him. But when the subject of Justin Bieber and Sean Diddy Combs came up on his podcast, the room didn't fill with his usual wild energy. Instead, it felt heavy, like a weight pressed down on everyone listening. Joe wasn't yelling, he wasn't joking, he was sad. And that sadness hit harder than any rant ever could.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're
He
out.
got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
And good luck when you're older. You know, Justin Bieber had a post the other day on his Instagram talking about all the drugs that he did when he was younger and how much it fucked him up. And now he's got a relationship with the Lord, and he's got, you know, he's married, and he's trying to be a normal person.
Yeah.
But he's struggling with the fact that he was insanely famous when he was a kid.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
He leaned into the mic, lowered his voice, and said it straight. This kid didn't deserve what happened to him. And with that, the floodgates opened. Joe spent the rest of that podcast not exploding in anger, but reflecting with sorrow. He painted a picture of a young Justin Bieber, barely in his mid-teens, standing on the edge of fame, blinded by the spotlight, and surrounded by adults who should have protected him, but didn't. Instead of safety, he was handed over to Diddy, a man who has now been exposed in courtrooms, documentaries, and headlines as someone who used his power in ways that left scars on everyone around him. For Joe, this wasn't just another celebrity scandal. It was a tragedy, a story about a kid who wanted to sing, to share music, and to live his dream, only to have that dream twisted into a nightmare by the very people who promised to help him.
And then you have them come to audition for you, right?
Actually, there were a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
So you were all sitting in a room somewhere?
We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, "Are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing."
When all these pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people will come to those concerts. Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of manager he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, yeah, show your or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR,
Hey,
man.
by the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his penis?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his penis is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher, is somebody...
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man.
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover.
So many horrific accusations, though, involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z,
Everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you tried to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right, okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 555.
Yes. Okay.
5555.
Okay. 55. Y'all heard that?
Yeah. Okay.
Joe spoke with a deep sadness about the loss of innocence. He reminded listeners that Justin wasn't just another pop star. He was a teenager with wide eyes and a heart full of hope. He had the world at his feet, millions of fans screaming his name, and the chance to live out a once-in-a-lifetime journey. But behind the flashing lights and cheering crowds, something darker was happening. Instead of mentorship, Justin was pulled into the orbit of Diddy, a man whose name had long been whispered in Hollywood with fear and suspicion. Joe described it as watching a lamb walk straight into a lion's den. The industry didn't shield him. It didn't guide him. It fed him to the wolves. And Joe's sadness came from knowing that none of this was a secret. People saw it, people knew, and yet nothing was done. That reality broke his heart even more.
You think I could book that for like the weekend of the 14th when the soundtrack comes out? If so, bump somebody. All right, thanks. All right, love you, man. All right. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
What's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we've become friends in a strange way, you know?
Like Robin Big.
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
I'm Big and you're Robin.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Months ago, I was really struggling mentally and emotionally, and just there was so many things that were adding up, and I wasn't able to enjoy any of the things that I owned.
That stuff's not gonna matter to you.
None of the actual things did anything because I was so hurt and I was so confused and I was so sick, and there was all these things, and I was like, I can't, you know, there's like, you just can't, like you said, you can't enjoy the actual physical, tangible, like things that money offers, right?
On his podcast, Joe compared Justin's story to the countless kids who get drawn into industries that promise glory but deliver trauma. Imagine being 15, Joe said quietly. You've got talent, you've got drive, you've got this whole world opening up in front of you. And instead of people helping you build a healthy path, they hand you over to someone who sees you as a tool, as a trophy, as a way to keep control. The words lingered. Joe wasn't laughing this time. He wasn't cracking jokes about the insanity of the entertainment world. He sounded mournful, like a man who had seen this cycle repeat too many times before and hated knowing it had claimed another victim. Make no mistake, Joe placed the blame squarely on Diddy. He described him as a master manipulator, a man who built his empire not on talent alone, but on control, intimidation, and manipulation. Diddy wasn't just a music mogul, he was a figure who loomed over young stars like Justin Bieber, promising them guidance, but delivering something else entirely. Joe highlighted how Diddy always positioned himself close to rising stars. He wasn't just a businessman, he wanted access, influence, and loyalty. And Justin, at such a young age, was the perfect target. The sadness in Joe's voice deepened as he explained how Justin probably thought he was gaining a mentor, a friend, maybe even a father figure in the industry. But what he really walked into was a trap that would haunt him for years.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
The you of then was on a path of self-destruction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
We had seen these videos of Justin Bieber being handed over to him at age 15. Great job. Great job. For his weekend with Diddy camp. I mean, we don't know, but it certainly looks like Justin Bieber is still suffering the fallout from whatever happened to him as he was coming up the ranks of the music world. It really doesn't seem worth it. I mean, I'd love to hear more from his camp about what's real, because it's clear he's suffering. We just don't know from what. And what mother out there would give her 15-year-old boy over to a grown man who's in the rap industry for a weekend with Diddy camp without other adult supervision?
Joe's reflection went beyond Diddy himself. He called out the entire system that allowed this to happen. Managers, executives, labels, all of them turned a blind eye because the money was flowing. Bieber wasn't just a kid, he was a product, a brand, a gold mine. Protecting him wasn't profitable, exploiting him was. This truth crushed Joe. He sighed during the podcast, shaking his head as he tried to put it into words. We're supposed to look after the next generation, he said. We're supposed to build them up, make sure they don't fall into the same traps, but instead we threw him to the sharks, and the sharks ate. What hit Joe the hardest was the realization that Justin never had a chance to be a kid. His teenage years weren't filled with school dances, part-time jobs, and hanging out with friends. They were filled with stadium tours, paparazzi cameras, and the pressure to be perfect. And on top of all that pressure, he had Diddy lurking in the background. Joe described fame at that level as a prison disguised as a palace. It looks beautiful from the outside, mansions, cars, fans, money. But inside it's lonely, isolating, and dangerous. For Justin, that isolation meant he had no one to turn to when things got dark. The sadness in Joe's tone made it clear. This wasn't about celebrity gossip. This was about a human being who got lost in the machinery of fame and suffered because of it. By the end of his podcast, Joe wasn't just sad, he was pleading for the industry to wake up, pleading for parents, managers, and executives to finally take responsibility. We can't keep doing this, he said. We can't keep feeding kids into this machine and then acting shocked when they come out broken. It was one of the few times Joe's audience heard him sound genuinely heartbroken. He wasn't roasting anyone. He wasn't making it a comedy bit. He was mourning the cost of fame and the cruelty of people like Diddy who exploit it. The story of Justin Bieber and Diddy is no longer just about one young star and one powerful mogul. It's a cautionary tale for the entire entertainment world. And Joe Rogan, a man who's seen plenty of scandals, couldn't hide his sadness when he spoke about it. He ended that podcast on a somber note. I hope Justin finds peace, I hope he heals, but I'll never forget what was taken from him. That sentence lingered like a heavy cloud. It wasn't anger, it wasn't rage, it was grief. And in some ways, that grief said more than any rant ever could.